Yo, 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 yo. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Y'all know why we here, man. Every story has two sides, but one question remains unanswered. Who's the deadbeat? Um, y'all guys gotta stop alienating y'all kids, man. Y'all know why we here. We giving everybody a chance to, tell both sides of the story and to get their story out there to help us raise awareness.
If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Welcome to our channel. Thank you for joining us, tuning in. Everybody, please like, share, and subscribe. We're trying to grow this subscribers so that we can reach more people to share their stories and tell, and eventually just be able to bridge the gap so that we can connect more families together outside of all the messiness and drama. Before we get started, just so you guys know, everyone that comes up, please keep it clean. Don't say too many names. Me and my husband, who's the deadbeat, of course, is not liable or reliable for any litigations or any court proceedings to follow that you are currently in, or to follow, should I say. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But yeah, let's do it.
Okay, we got a few guests in the queue already. We're gonna go with Yessie. I hope I'm saying your name right. Okay, we finna. Did I say your name right?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Yessie, hey, how's it going?
Hey, good, good. Just picking up my
All right.
daughter from the after school program because she stays for tutoring after school. So just picking her up.
Okay. Is it okay to talk?
Right,
Yeah,
this is a good
yeah, it's
time.
fine. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
She's not in the car, is she?
Yeah, she's in the car, but she knows the whole situation that's been going on. She knows everything because she was in the home where my other children are currently at. So she knows. I took her from the home because she's the only one that they didn't have the court papers for. So she's been with me since September. What is it, September 16th of last year?
How old is she?
She's 11.
Yeah. So the thing is, even if she is aware of the situation, like we can't really interview you in front of her. This is an adult type of live. It gets a little raunchy sometimes.
Yeah.
So we prefer her not to be a part of this. She's a minor.
Let me give her some headphones so she could be on her laptop or something. Hold on.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh wait, I think I have headphones in my.
Meanwhile, in between time, where you from?
Madera, California.
Okay. Uh,
Yes.
And you
Born in
have how many?
born
How
in.
many?
What was that?
and how many kids do you have?
5.
You have 5 kids?
How
Yes,
many
5.
different men?
3.
Okay.
So how many out of the five were being alienated?
Um, well, my sister's the one that's keeping my kids from me. That's alienating the kids and doing the whole thing with like not letting me talk to them or speak on the phone with them.
So is
Uh,
it all of them?
they were all. It was all of them at one point, but now there's only 3 girls left in the home, and my son left with his biological dad, which he's my oldest one. He's 15, and then I have the 11-year old. So there's just the 3 girls: my 13, 15, and 8-year old.
Okay, so how long ago did this start? When was this?
This has been ongoing since 2008, 19.
Okay, 2019.
Hmm.
That's a bit of
Yeah.
extent.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess this isn't like a typical interview because you're not being alienated by the other parents. This is a family member who has guardianship, correct?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so they're abusing the guardianship to you. So when we
Yes.
ask who's the deadbeat in this situation?
Nobody, basically. No, well, nobody. Well, you can maybe say me because I'm the one who messed up and left the kids with in care of my sister. So at one point I was like I did what I did, and I had to basically remove, like, give my sister guardianship over the children, so that way I could take care of all, because I had all these legal issues that I had going on, because I had cases in court because I don't have I had a rough past, and I
Okay.
made choices that
So to piggyback off of that, because of course the viewers are going to want to know. Of course, we don't want you to share anything that you're uncomfortable with sharing, but just to get like they need to get a basis of what type of lifestyle did you live where you had to hand your kids over.
I had cases because before all of this, I was running around with the wrong crowd, doing things to like get by because of course drugs were involved, and well, it was because my I had a really like messed up relationship with my first baby dad. He was dealing drugs. He was doing all of that stuff. So that's what got me involved in that. And then it was just messy. It was messy. My life was messy at that time. But so was in jail, and that's when I made the decision to let my sister take guardianship of my kids. And it was a mutual. It was like an agreement. I agreed. I was like, you know what?
Okay, so start us from the top. Okay, you have your first kid, and
Mhm.
then what happened with that situation?
Oh, I was fine. Everything was fine. I was perfect. Everything was good. I had my son.
How old were you?
I was going to. I turned 21 when I had him, so I was 20.
Okay, with your first child, and you and
Mhm.
that dad worked together.
We were off. It was rough from the beginning. It was rough from the beginning. Like it was off and on. We were good for a long stretch of time, and then he put his hands on me again, and he be okay. And I was just, I don't know. I was Now that I think about it, I'm like, what was I thinking? Like I put my kids through a lot because my son remembers things that have happened when he was young, and
So
he's like, Mom.
so
So it
you
was
only had one. You only had one kid with him.
no. There's three.
Three with the first kid's
Hmm.
father.
Yeah,
Okay. So you guys were together for a number of years,
yeah, for quite a while.
but you said it was toxic and just a lot of
It was a lot
bad
of
things happening.
yeah, a lot of domestic, a lot of
The,
abuse,
okay.
physical, mentally.
So with all that being said, why would you have more kids with them?
I don't know. You know what? Dumb, thinking that it's gonna fix the relationship or it's gonna be better, or promising he's gonna be better, and me believing him. I mean, it was like my first serious relationship that I was ever in. Like I was
Okay.
in never in a really serious relationship, and I don't know. I was young, dumb, inexperienced.
Yeah, we all was young. We wouldn't be here. We all wasn't young and dumb. So I get it. So how old were you after you had the last kid?
I was oh, this
Well,
was in
when you had the last kid?
I had my last baby. She was born
I'm
2000.
talking about with the first baby daddy.
Yeah, with my first baby daddy. I
Okay.
split up with him, and then I had my daughter, my 11-year-old, and then I went and got back with him again. And I got pregnant with with my baby, my youngest one. She's 8. But I don't know what happened like when I was pregnant with her, that I just completely didn't want nothing to do with him at that point anymore. Like I didn't even care if he was in her life or nothing. Like I just
So let
completely.
me get this right. You had two of him. You split up and had another baby, and then had another one with him after that.
No, no, I did. I split up with him. I had my two oldest,
Okay.
split up with him, and I was with somebody else, and I had my
Okay.
third one. Then was in another relationship, and I had my fourth one, and then I went back to him again and ended up pregnant by him again.
So you had two kids with him, two kids
Mhm.
by two other people, and then a third kid with him.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So take us to baby daddy number two. You broke
Mm,
up with him, and
yeah.
it was a relationship, and you had a kid, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I ended up pregnant. Just not
What
being smart, not taking birth control. That's one thing too. Like I was just
was it? Was he the same type of guy from as
no.
the first?
He actually wanted to marry me, but I just didn't. I wasn't ready for that. I was feeling stuck on my first baby's dad.
And
So
how old was you at that age?
I think I was about, let me see, 21, about 24, maybe 25.
Well, at that time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now get us to the third one.
The third one, the third baby from him, from my first baby
Yeah.
dad.
No, yeah, for the third baby daddy.
Your third child.
Yeah, your third
I
child.
mean, not your
My third
third
Your
child.
child.
your
Yeah, that's the
fourth
one I
child.
said that I was that's the one I said. The third one is the one that that I wanted. He wanted to marry me, but I just wasn't ready for it. That was the third from the third one, and then there was my fourth one. My fourth one, it wasn't nothing serious. It was just like we were just friends, and I ended up pregnant, and he I he just basically completely blocked himself out from her life
Okay.
and whatever. But
Okay, so my next question to you then. So, all right, before we get to that, can you just explain to us, all right, what happened and how did you get custody took? Because I'm confused. So why
I
did your
didn't.
sister even get him and why not the
Yeah,
fathers?
it's not even because the dad once me and him split. Okay, the thing was with the dad, there was a restraining order on him for 7 years, I believe, or six, something
Which
like that.
one?
The first one, because after I got together with him, he put his hands on me and all that. So there was a restraining order in court, and he was trying to get it removed, but the judge wasn't doing it. He was like, no, because there was just already too many times that he'd put his hands on me already.
But you were
So
still seeing him, right?
yeah, well, it all this took place when I got pregnant with the baby and all that. So I had the baby. We weren't together. I wasn't trying to be with him. I was living on my own, do my own thing. I had and I was fine. And then I don't know, things just took place. I think I just got maybe overwhelmed with everything of being. I was a single mom with five babies, and I just was overwhelmed. I had no help from nobody. Like it was just me on my own, just pulling through life, working, making sure my kids get to school, getting them, because I remember my two girls were in cheer, my son was in soccer, and I feel like I let life get the best of me, and so that's when I fell apart, and everything started happening like it just like a domino effect, like it just started happening back to back to back, everything. And so then I went to jail, and then that's when I decided, you know what? I don't want my kids to get caught in the system. I don't want my kids to be in a foster home with people that they don't know, with strangers. And I'm just gonna let my family take my kids. And
So why the fathers wasn't a option? Of course,
because there
though,
was,
not the first one because you had a restraining order on him. But what
yeah,
about the other two?
the other one didn't even care. Like he was in prison or something. I think I don't know honestly. Like he was in prison, and I didn't have a communication with them like that. And the fourth one, it,
So is it
there was
safe
no
to say that if it's
communication.
safe to say the other two was deadbeats?
Basically, yeah. The fourth one, definitely a deadbeat.
Okay.
Like he's really never cared to have a relationship, to know her, to any none of that.
Do,
There
do
was
you
a
have
family.
a light? Did you have a light that you could cut on in the car? Because we can really see you. It's getting dark. Okay.
There was a He was like, how do you say, like he just didn't want no part in to be in her life or whatever. So, but his family does see my daughter. They're involved in her life and stuff. So
So she doesn't know her dad at all.
she's seen pictures of him. That's as much as she knows.
How
He's
old is
like,
she?
she's 11.
Man, that's tough.
Yeah, it is. It
Okay.
is tough. It is tough, but
Okay. Go ahead.
she's basically like she really doesn't ask for him. But I know that as a child, I know that it probably does bother her. Like, hey, why isn't he around? Or
Are you
you know,
dating anybody?
I'm married. I'm married now.
And when did that happen after you, like how long after you lost custody?
After I lost custody, I was I got together with my husband maybe a year afterwards, maybe a year and some change after. And I've been with him ever since. I've been with him ever since then, and we've been together for like 5 years and married for two. So
Okay,
no,
so
three years, married for 3 years.
and you got, I mean, would you say that you guys are pretty stable?
Yes, he has a good job. He's the sole provider right now at the moment.
How is he with the kids? I mean, I know
Great.
it's okay. So
He's great with the kids.
they are familiar with him.
Yes, very, very. My baby, she loves him. She adores him. She gets so happy when she sees him. She loves him. Like she melts for him.
So even though you made bad choices, you ended up in prison. There was a history of abuse and
Mhm.
things like that. Why do you think your sister, after you gave her the, pretty much the power to
Hmm.
take over, why do you think that she wanted to just make it a permanent thing? Did she not trust you once you
I
were
don't
released,
know
or what
because you know
happened?
what? At one point we were good. Like I was going to her house every day, watched watching
Is
the baby.
this
Baby
post
was,
like after you are released, or like take us
yeah.
through?
Okay,
Take
so
us through. You're in prison. You do the paperwork to give her legal guardianship. You get out. What's happening?
I get out and I reach out to her every day, like, hey, can I see the kids? Can I see the kids? Can I see the kids? I get no response for 2 3 months. I get no response, and then finally I get a response from her, and she tells me, well, your son is going to start baseball, so you can meet me at the park every Wednesday at so time. So I made sure I was there every single Wednesday for, and sometimes she wouldn't even show up. Like and I wouldn't even get a notification like, hey, by the way, I'm not gonna make it today, so don't go. Nothing like that. And she wouldn't notify me of her not showing up. I would show up and wait there, and nothing. And she wouldn't even respond. I would be like, hey, are you coming? Nothing. And so then I did that, and then she said, hey, one day she was like, can you watch the baby, because we don't have anybody to watch her. Mom can't watch her, my mom. Can you come over every
You-
day
Can
from
you hold the camera up? We can't see you. Okay,
can you
there we
come
go.
she would just like, can you come every day, like at 6 a.m. to whatever times her and her husband would get home, like at 7 p.m., and just take care of the baby every day. I was there every day,
So,
every morning. I'd be there for almost, it was for a while.
so what you think the issue is? Why do you think she wanted
I
to
don't know.
alienate
She
you?
she says that it's because I gave my kids a cell phone, my teenagers, when they were already attending, when they were in middle school, and she made it a huge deal about it. Like, and I was like, well, why? The kids are walking, because my kids were walking from school sometimes to her house, and I was like, it's not safe with the way the world is. It's not safe out there. Like, just to make sure that they get home safe. And she just had like the biggest, like, she turned after COVID.
Let's pause for 1 second, because
Mhm.
I'm totally confused, and I know when people are viewing this, they probably won't understand. So I'm trying to get a basis to kind of figure out the timeline. So did
Okay.
you guys go through court for her to get guardianship, or was this
Yes.
just a family
No,
agreement?
it was through court. She went through court.
It was legal. Okay.
Mhm.
So you get out and you didn't go back to court, like to try to get
No,
supervision, or like
that's and that's where I messed up. I didn't go to court to get visits. I went. She just let me see them without just.
okay, so you get out and you don't do the necessary steps legally to try to get legal custody back. You
Yeah,
just try to wing it with your family and see the kids and do it as you
yeah,
please. And that wasn't something she wanted, or did she
yeah.
feel
Well,
like you weren't ready?
the thing is that, not it's not that she is, the fact that I had just got out of jail. My life wasn't all the way, like, I didn't. We were staying with my husband, with my husband's father. It was just a two-bedroom house, so there was no room for me to be like, hey, let me take the kids. That I have no place for them. So I
Okay.
didn't even have a vehicle at the time. I was
Did you
just,
get married while you were incarcerated?
no, 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 no. We just got married in 2021. That's when
Okay.
I got married. We
Because
weren't
I
away.
was going off the timeline. You
Yeah,
said that you've been with him. So you got with him prior to her getting custody?
yeah. I was with him prior to him. I was dating him prior to her getting custody of the kids.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay. So I'm just trying to get a feel for how it may be viewed. Like
yeah,
if you two adults, you should be able to handle your family. You said that you were overwhelmed as a single mom.
yeah. Well,
And
I wasn't with him in a steady relationship. It wasn't like something that was serious. I was established, like, hey, we're together, we're living together. It wasn't like that. It was, we were just talking, seeing each other, but it wasn't nothing too serious at the time. It didn't. We didn't get like really like together. You could say, until I was released from jail in 2018. Because I was
okay, okay. So you get released and then you guys
Mhm.
get serious. But to
Yeah,
your sister and everybody else, he's just a new dude, basically.
yeah,
But
basically.
But you had already had established a relationship with him. Okay. So now you're trying to get the kids back on your own terms. And is she feeling like you're stepping on her toes by doing the things, giving the phone and doing things that she's
Yeah,
letting you see them? Did she feel like you were overstepping your bounds? Because at this point, she's raising them. So I'm
yeah,
sure her rules are in place, right?
yeah. Mhm.
Is that what it was about? Because it wouldn't be a conflict if you've been, in jail. You get out, you want to get your life together and get yourself together. You guys
Uh,
should be working together to get your kids back with you.
yeah, yeah. And
But
What
so
was the issue?
that was the whole thing. Like her husband has always been very like open and told me like the goal is to make sure the kids go home. The goal is not for me to keep the kids. That's not my intention. I don't want to keep these kids. I want the kids to go home.
Right.
So it's always been like very always expressed that to me like we don't want to keep your kids. I want the kids to go home. So I was seeing them. It was consistent. Like I was allowed to go to her house every day, spend time on the weekend, stay the night, stay with them unsupervised. She'd go on vacation. I'd stay with the kids, sometimes even her children too. So I would. It was all seven of them and me at their house. And then COVID happened, and I had gotten a job before COVID. I was manager at my job. I was doing great. I bought me a car. Everything was good. And then after COVID happened, it's like she did a whole shift. Like she shifted, like her whole demeanor, her whole mindset. We were getting along great before COVID. It was great. It was awesome. I was like, what? Like everybody was like, wow, like that's good that your sister lets you see your kids. You're very involved. School events, I was there. Everything. And then
So take us to the shift because okay, you said you think it happened over a cell phone, but okay, even if that was the case, were there other
yeah,
incidents where
but
you feel like you
I don't
crossed the
believe
line?
it. I don't believe it was the phone. I think I don't know what it is because I've always tried to understand why she changed. She did a whole 360 on me when we were great. Like I said, we were fine. We spent Christmases together, Thanksgiving, all of that.
does she get any aid or anything, any money from them
You
for
know,
them?
he tells me she doesn't, but after COVID happened, they bought a house. He bought a brand new truck. She bought her dream car, and I was like, my mom had kind of made like a
I mean,
comment.
that's public record if she does. So you could
Yeah,
find out those things if it was some type
yeah.
of payee, payer type situation going on with the government. And she was like, what would that be? Like, it would be foster care. It wouldn't
Something.
be
Well,
guardianship.
I found out that
Well,
there's like
no, guardianship can
but there is a
produce funds as well. So I
yeah,
don't
for
know.
California there's like this there's funding for people that take care of children that are family members. So it's basically
Okay.
a foster, and it's like a $1,500 check that they get for every child.
Oh
I
wow.
so I
And
don't
has she had
Oh.
5 of your kids? You said.
yeah,
And how long do they get that?
for as long as the child is living in their home.
Well, that could be a strong
That
possibility for a
yeah.
motive, right? So
Or
Yeah.
is it or abuse?
And
take
then
us to no contact. Like, so she stopped everything. You couldn't come
yeah,
around anymore.
no, after the whole phone thing, nope, I couldn't come around them anymore. I couldn't like talk to my kids. My kids would get in trouble if they'd see me. Like I mean, it was ugly after COVID. It was ugly. Like there was things that she would say to me that was like, why are you saying that? I couldn't buy my kids not even a bag of chips without asking her permission. Like
What?
I couldn't do nothing. I bought my soda. My kids had a school dance at the middle school, and his shoes were all beat up. And I was like, I'm not gonna send him to a school dance with his dirty shoes like that. Like they were old. So I went, bought him some shoes, some nice shoes, and send them off. Well, I got told a bunch of stuff because of that. And they took the shoes away from him.
So how did that make you feel, being that these are your kids and someone's treating you like that, especially your
And
sister?
keeping them away because she's not even the other parent. She's just a family member.
Um, really shitty because I would never think that my own sibling could do that to me because she has kids and I would think that she would want me to have a relationship
Understand.
with my children. And I just feel helpless. The only person that I have to have my back is my husband. And if I feel alone, I I feel confused as to why she would do something like that because I never would think that she would ever do that to me ever. Like
What was our relationship like growing up?
It was good. Like, I mean, normal teenager sister fights. Like, she's older than me, so it was always like we were always fighting with each other, but it was nothing too crazy, like to the extent
So
where
how do the family, like your mom how do the family feel about this?
my mom, she's just like, she feels like she's stuck in the middle because she's like, I'm not backing have I don't have anyone's back, like I'm not backing anybody up. She's like, I'm in the middle, I'm tugged one way and the other. And it's like, she's like, and I'm the one who's here at the house, so my mom tells me everything that goes on, everything. Every time something would happen with my kids, she would tell me. Like, I was there once, and this is before everything kicked off and she stopped letting me go over, but I was there and her son and my son fought. And she goes up to her son and just smacks him on the arm and grabs my son by his hair, literally snatches my son up by his hair. And I'm standing there looking at her like, are you serious? So as your mama bear instinct, that's when it kicked in. And I was like, i I lost it. Like, I was getting ready to put hands on her, but my daughters came in and they're like, Mom. And I was like, I held back and I grabbed my son by his hand and I go, let's go. But for her to grab him that way with such anger, it was like,
Yeah,
why, what did
yeah.
he do that was so bad? They both fought, they both are at fault for fighting, they're kids.
Mm-hmm.
And
So get us to like what? Where are you today? What's going
I
on?
um I'm working towards trying to get an attorney so I can get my girls back because my son is no
So
longer.
how many kids are being alienated from you right now?
Three kids.
Why is it not all of them? Because the oldest is
because
older and the
be-
baby is what?
because my son, my daughter is 15. And I talked to her the other day, and she is angry at me, just mad at me, and telling me that I need to go get supervised visits. And she sounds just like my sister. When I get it, it's like I'm texting my sister, and I'm like,
Yeah,
Yeah, she's projected her feelings onto the
the
kids.
kids.
They
uh huh.
at this point
It's
it's almost like being brainwashed, like
yeah, absolutely. And
So
I was,
so let me ask you this. I just want to back it up real quick. So if she did that, how do you know these kids, your kids, are not being mistreated in the house?
I definitely know that my kids are being mistreated because my son was being mistreated, and my son's no longer in the home anymore. My son is with his father now because she
So what
refused.
happened with that situation?
She Look, he wasn't around for 6 years. I was present those 6 years while he was not even in the picture, wouldn't call them, wouldn't nothing. And all of a sudden he files paperwork. And I think it's to spite me, to piss me off. She allowed him and was so willing to work a deal out with him and be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna let you see the kids. But she won't even sit down and talk to me. But she did it, and I
Yeah,
feel
that's
like
probably
she did
because
it
she
to
didn't
piss
she
me
didn't
off.
really care too much for that son.
right. He
Yeah, no, she
wasn't
did it.
he wasn't her favorite.
Yeah,
Nope,
So
she
she probably
treated
couldn't
him.
manipulate him. She couldn't
She
manipulate him
Yes,
or nothing.
absolutely, because my son will not, like, he won't let my sister say nothing about me. Like, he'd be like, nope, that's my mom, I don't care what you say, I love her, that's my mom, that's always going to be my mom.
yeah,
My
so
daughter,
she targeted him.
yes.
But what's crazy is, like you said, well, with her doing all the other things, she's definitely capable of going further. And it's a good thing, I guess, that he's not in a home anymore with her. But then she puts him with his dad, and knowing that situation, how do you feel about that? Because he still has the restraining order, right?
No, that's it's like that, it's already weighed time, like it's.
Oh, okay. So it's expired. Is
So
he
But I
good
have.
to? Is he a good father to your son?
I know
At
he
least.
loves his kids. I know he loves his kids, but my thing is that when my sister had asked him if that she was gonna not, she couldn't take care of my son anymore, that she just couldn't deal with him because he was so horrible and he was so bad, and she acted like he was like a little thug running the streets. My son was not like that. He was playing football. He's not a bad kid. Like, he regular teenager stuff, yes, but not too much to the point where you're like, oh, I'm gonna put him in jail. They would literally always tell him,
So
you're
if he's with him, why can't he see the other kids and get them?
he sees that my 15-year-old, he sees my 15-year-old, but they don't want my daughter to know that my 8-year-old, they don't want to tell her that that's her dad too. Hmm.
what?
Why?
because they're it's gonna hurt her and it's gonna confuse her. She has every right to know who her dad is, though.
So who does she think her dad is?
My brother-in-law. So do you not understand
Oh
Oh
how
my
my
confusing
god.
that is?
God, bro.
Do you not see how, do you see, like, it's confusing for her? Like, wait, but she knows who her biological mom is, which is me.
So
But
she
then,
think that her aunt and her mother
yeah,
has the same relations with the same man.
exactly,
Oh
exactly. My
my
mom
God.
said
Are
the
you
same thing.
serious?
Yes, they call my kids are not allowed to call her my aunt. If they even my daughter says, "Oh, my tia" or "tia mama," because they call her tia mom. They call me real mom. She
Like
gets so
auntie
mad.
mom?
Yeah, she gets so mad. She's like, "I'm your mom." She's literally yelled at me in front of all my kids. "You're not their mom. I'm their mom." In the most
Are you
angry.
serious?
Yes, yes.
And she has her own kids?
And she's a teacher for the Unified School District here. So,
Oh my God.
mhm,
Listen,
This is worse than what I
this
thought it
yeah, we
was,
yeah,
man.
again, sometimes with each person that every case is different. So we have to dig and we have to figure it out and we have to get there. This
mhm.
is crazy.
Yes, it is. She has told my son, "Oh, her and her husband have told my son, you're gonna end up being a burnout just like your parents."
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, like
She
me.
didn't catch
Parental alienation at its best. And
Hmm.
so just to say this, because in the beginning of the interview we asked you who's the deadbeat. And so a lot of people go by textbook dictionary terms and we don't. And so anybody can be a deadbeat. Any person that has the power, that has guardianship, legal custody, any type of, over the children that are not doing what's best for them or what's in their best interest. That's
Hmm.
a deadbeat, not just a parent or a father that's not paying child support. No, that's not the term we use. And so I'm gonna ask you again. In this case, who's the deadbeat?
I believe she is, because
Definitely.
she's
and
always
if
said,
her husband back
If
and
they're doing
like what? Like
these
what?
things that you're saying they're doing, that is deadbeat behavior.
I
Yeah.
I have this thing where I drop off I always get my kids a Valentine's Day gift for Valentine's, all five of them. I drop something off at school for them and stuff. Well, my kids, she got so angry because it was already, I had got them something for Valentine's Day, and she was so pissed because I did that. And so she doesn't want me to buy them nothing. Even when I was seeing them, I couldn't get my kids Christmas gifts because she was like, "No, I'm not doing presents this year." But she would buy them gifts, and I would look stupid giving my kids some dumb stuff or not give, like, she would always
Yeah.
try to make me look like I was a piece of shit, like, all the time. I'm the bad guy. She's like, "Why?" And she
That
would,
is not okay.
"Why
Yeah.
do you
That is
always
That's
have
not
to be the
okay.
she,
superhero and I get to be the
You
villain? Why do I
you
have to be the villain?"
you gotta go get your babies.
Yeah.
If your life is together and you stable and you and your spouse is able to take care of your
Yeah.
children, you gotta
yeah.
go get your babies.
By
She
any
said,
means necessary.
she says I ain't done nothing with my life. I ever since I got out of jail, I didn't have my driver's license. I got my driver's license. I got my high school diploma. I started college. I graduated college with a 3.27 GPA. I,
Congratulations.
Good for
I'm
you.
going. I
The
got credit.
reality is
I
you
got,
aren't on trial on this platform.
Right.
yeah,
Okay, this is a safe space. Nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. If you've done crimes and you've done your time, we do not have to cover that. That's
yeah,
irrelevant. The fact remains that you are those children's mom and
yeah.
you
Facts.
have every right
Facts.
to talk to them, to see them, to bond with them, to do whatever it is that you're supposed to be able to do with
Don't
your own children
don't ma-
without her interfering.
don't matter if you didn't go to college, high
All of that is
school,
irrelevant.
none of
Yeah.
that. None of
If
that
you love
matters.
them kids and you not bringing them any harm, how dare she
She,
keep your
yeah.
kids away from you
She,
And then tell them harmful things
and
about
saying
you.
that she's
she,
their mom?
she tells my
That
kids
sounds
that
like some crazy stuff to me.
she told my 11-year-old, the one I have, that she was my 11-year-old told me that she was crying once, and she's like, "I love you. Your mom picked drugs over you." My even when I went to go pick her up because she didn't have no court papers for her, I picked her up, and she told her, my daughter said she was sitting there screaming at her, telling her, "Do you want to go with her or not?" And that my daughter was like, "I don't know," and she's like, "How do you not know? How do you not know?" She lost her mind when she called the sheriff department on me. Sheriff went out to my husband's dad's house, and he was like, "I can't take her from you because you're her biological mom, and she aunt doesn't have no papers from court saying she can have her. She has custody of her." She was so mad when the sheriff called her back and told her he couldn't take my daughter from me. She told my mom that I was a piece of shit bitch, that she never wanted to see me again. Like, the worst, of screaming at the top of her lungs. And my daughter called me and said, "Mom, what happened? Tia's going crazy over here." And I'm trying to keep the baby distracted from hearing all this because I don't want her to get scared. So
You say the baby. You talk about your 11-year old,
no, I'm talking about my 8-year-old.
8-year old. So the
Mhm.
11-year old is still there.
Yeah, my 11-year-old is with me now.
Oh,
She's
okay. So the 11-year old is with you. The
yeah.
baby is still there with her,
Mhm. Yeah.
and your other daughter is there with her.
Yeah, my 13, 15, and my 8-year-old are with her.
13, 15,
And
and
eight.
if
All
you
right.
took the 11-year old, then you need to go take them all one by one, and
Yeah.
that's what you have to do.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
day I picked her up, she had she had my kids bring my daughter out to me, and she was telling text. She sent me a text saying, "You yeah, so you could see what you're doing to them." And I was like, "Why are you like why are you doing this? Like it makes no sense why you would put the kids through this. Like the kid, my daughter, my 8-year-old was sitting there crying, and I'm
This
like,
is wild.
yeah,
Why do you have to get an attorney? You can't. I know California is crazy, right? It's
yeah."
a lot of
Well, the
things with the
mediator,
state of Cali, like, but
one the mediator when my baby's daddy went to mediation, the first thing she said to him when he walked in there said, "I'm not here to help you. I'm not here to help you. I know whatever my sister. She's a really good person." Hmm. My kids went to mediation.
but
Talked
that would work
to
in your favor because if she
hmm
gave your son to the dad so willingly, she can give up the rest of the kids back to
and
you.
and the thing is, look, whenever my sister had told the dad to take him, he told my son no, that he needed to stay there. His partner, his wife, his spouse is the one who's like, no, you need to get those kids. You need to go get them so they can see, because they need to go with their mom. And if it wasn't for her, I believe that he probably would have just not took my son if she wouldn't have
Yeah.
pushed him,
Yeah.
because she was the one who told me. She's like,
But it's
Kudos
still
to her.
lopsided because they don't have them all. Like
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just I just can't believe this. Like
yeah. So they have court on the 22nd because he submitted. Well, she helped him submit paperwork to terminate the guardianship. And after the 22nd, my son's just like, "Mom, I want the 22nd to get here because I just want to." He wants to spend time with his mom. He wants to be. He's my baby boy. I have suffered so much just thinking about him because it kills me, because I knew how she was,
she
how
was
she would
treating
be
him.
with him. And it's like, why project your anger and your feelings and your emotions that you feel towards me? Why do you do that to my kids? Take it out on me, because you won't tell me nothing. And I told my mom, she's messing with the wrong kids, I'm telling you, because I'm gonna fight for these kids. I'm gonna get my kids, and I don't ever want for her to hurt me and for her to be my family and for her to do this. I can't respect her and I can't continue to have a relationship with her because after this, because she has hurt me in ways that I've never in my life could think. I would never in a million years, even if she was a freaking crack addict on the street, would I ever treat her the way she's treated me over the years. And
Yeah.
for me to
That's
entrust her with my children and for my son to tell me everything that's happened throughout the years and everything, how they treated him, is so ugly, and I don't understand. She goes to church every Sunday. Every Sunday, she's faithful churchgoer. If I was like, if God doesn't teach you that you're supposed to treat others that way, especially your family. And
okay. Yeah,
It's it's a lot.
that's tough. So
And
yeah, it's a
go ahead.
lot.
no, you go.
So let me ask you this then. If you can if it could be a perfect world, what would that look like to you?
To have my kids,
What about
to
your
have my
relationship with
kids, have my
your
babies, be happy with my babies, and try to do the best to help them heal from everything that they've been through. Because I can only imagine the stuff that they have to deal with, that they've had to deal with.
You definitely gonna have to do damage control when
Yeah,
you get them back.
because the one,
what about healing the fixing the relationship with your sister? You think that's done?
it's gonna be hard. It's gonna take some time after. I don't know if I will ever get over it or if it will ever like go away. My
Have
because
you
I
guys
anger
tried
is
to
her.
just talk without fighting?
She won't. She won't.
She
She doesn't
won't
want
talk
anything
to
to do
you.
with me. She hates me. She says she's
Yeah.
mom. She hates me.
Okay, and my final question to you is what what would you change if you can do it all over again? What would you do differently?
I would have never made those choices that led me to letting my kids go with my sister. I would have wished I would have been stronger as a single mom. That I would have been stronger, and that I would have had a backbone and not been so weak at the moment. I wish I would have been stronger. I wish I would have gone to God and asked God to help me get through it. But
Yeah.
I that's what I would do. I would take everything back. I would if I was to go back to that day that I decided to make that first wrong decision, I would never have done it if I would have known that I was going to end up where I'm at today.
Okay. Well, we thank you for sharing your story. It's a wild one, man. You took us
Yeah.
on a roller coaster
Yeah,
for real.
I just want to say to you, given your past and your history, people are going to be judgmental.
Yeah.
You know that. I'm sure you've dealt with that up until this point.
Yes.
We thank you for sharing your story and being so transparent and
Mhm.
being accountable, right?
Yeah.
Um, for the viewers that are watching, if they feel that you aren't doing enough, because people tend to think that parental alienation does not exist.
Mhm.
What would you say to them in terms of what you are actively doing now to get your kids back?
For people that say that parental alienation doesn't exist, it does. And it's in different forms. It can be from anybody. It can be from somebody that has guardianship of your kids. It can be from a step parent to step kid. It could be from anything, and any grandparents too as well. Um, and just fight for your kids. Just fight whatever for whatever that love. Let that love that you have for your kids be that strength for you to get through that, because that's the thing I hang on to the most is the fact that I have my 11-year-old now is what me knowing that one day I'm gonna bring the rest of the kids home. Like we're all gonna be a family again. That's my ultimate goal, to be a family.
And what are you doing
To
right
make
now
that
to
happen.
make that happen?
Um, just trying to get look for the right attorney that can take my case. Right now we're moving from the place we were at to a bigger place because after the 22nd, I'm hoping that I'm gonna be able to see my son and be able to he'll be able to spend some time with me finally after so many years of I'll be able to hold him, hug him, do things with him. He wants me to show him how to drive. He's big. 16 years old. He's gonna be 16 years old December 4th, and I'm just looking forward to that day where I'm able to sit on the couch and spend one Christmas with my kids
Okay,
and then be able
and
to home.
I got one last question. I know I said the other one was the last one, but this is my last question to you for real. So, how have you been able to cope with this? And um I'm sorry if I gotta throw your drug use in, but I gotta do this because your story can probably help the next person. Being that you used to do drugs or whatever, and you previously been clean. How long have you been clean?
I've been clean since I was released, and I was they took the ankle monitor off me, which was January 2019.
Okay. Congratulations to
Congratulations
that.
on your
So
sobriety.
so how have you been able to cope with all of this, without,
Without relapsing.
yeah.
My husband mainly, because he's there to just have my back 100% and anything, and NA meetings and going to NA meetings and talking about how I feel counts. A lot of therapy's helped a lot, and just faith that one day I will have my kids back, and not giving up, because I think if I relapse, it's gonna set me back all those years, and
Yeah,
then what?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be. What are those? It's not gonna be worth nothing.
Your
All this
kid,
struggle.
your kids need you.
Yeah,
they do.
yeah,
They do.
They do it. Them babies need you.
Um,
yeah.
Also, have you looked into representing yourself? Because you can start out. I don't know if you guys even have to do like probate court. Like, we
The
are
thing,
not completely familiar with that area with how
the
guardianship works.
the judge
But
in that department is so strict. She doesn't let you get a word in unless you have an attorney.
okay,
Mm.
That's the only way she's gonna listen, is if you have an attorney. And
Well,
it sucks.
it
It
sucks.
sucks. It's a really messed up situation, because I feel like sometimes we don't there because I know that I'm not the only one with the guardianship situation or that's dealing with something like this. I mean, I know a girl that is in my NA group, and she's dealing with the same. It's like if she's dealing with my sister too, but it's the her children's aunt from the dad's side.
So it's safe to say, because in our world, right, a lot of parental alienation is just happening directly between other parents.
Yeah.
But I guess if you've had a past and you have children and you end up, incarcerated or being away from the kids for so long, or just, just struggling with being stable, people tend to give their kids to other
Yeah.
family members, not necessarily the other parent. And this is how these cases, I guess, are growing, where those people are tending to keep the kids away from the
Yeah.
parent,
Which is
which
crazy.
is
Yeah.
parental alienation.
Yeah. Because it
So
was never meant to be a permanent situation. It was only a temporary situation. And I feel like she
yeah.
just got to this point where she's like, no, they're mine, they're mine. And that's what she'll say. They're my kids. They're my kids. And I was like, no, they're not. Doesn't matter what you say. Even if I die, they're still not your kids. They're my kids.
Yeah. Well,
Sometimes I'm
thank you.
like,
We
even
Thank you.
rooting for you. Keep us posted.
I will.
Reach
Thank you
out. Let
for letting
us know
me
how
share.
it's going. We hope someone sees this where they can, potentially help out in Cali. A lot of people are looking for help there. That can potentially spread the word and get you some help. But keep
Yes.
up the good work. Stay focused and go get your babies.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you guys for letting me
All
share.
right. No,
You
thank
have
you.
a great rest of your evening. Thank you so
You
much.
too. Bye bye.
Mhm.
Bye bye.
Man,
That
that was
story
a wow.
just cracked my brain open,
Yeah.
because we hear so many different versions of parental alienation. This is the first one on the platform. But it's a light night. We're gonna keep it moving. We got another guest in the queue. Shaq. Is that what it says?
Yeah.
Hey,
Shaq.
yeah. What's
What's
going
going
on,
on,
y'all? How
Shaq,
y'all
man?
doing?
How
Hey,
are
how you
you?
doing, man?
Man, I can't call it, man. I love it, man. I love what y'all got going on, man. I'm telling you, it's a major thing, man. And I'm inspired. I tell y'all that.
Well, thank you. Thank you
Thank
so much for joining us. Thank you for following our
you.
platform.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, we're gonna jump right into it
Yeah.
because we know it's fight night.
Yeah, I mean, look,
Everybody,
that's why I was preparing over here. I'm telling you,
Man, we ain't gonna hold you.
yeah, we gonna
I
we gonna
got
try to get to it.
All right.
you. Yes,
Can you
sir.
just
Yes,
tell the
sir.
people where you from?
Oh yeah, so I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, and if you know about Birmingham, man, you know that we are some good people out there, man. And I just want to let everybody know when y'all come to Birmingham, y'all gonna have a good time, man. So
All right.
I
Shout out
hate
to
that.
Birmingham. Shout
There
out
you
to
go, there
Alabama
you
in the
Birmingham.
go.
house.
But
I mean, you
right
mean
now
like
I'm in Houston right now.
our people, right? Is the
Yeah, yeah,
it's the people we need to be trying to hang with the
exactly,
Alabama.
I'm scared of Alabama.
exactly.
Yeah, we keep it moving through Alabama.
Yeah, you know what's so funny is that every time I hear about it, man, and I just recently moved out here to Houston, and all the time I just hear a lot of stuff that from outsiders, and when they hear Birmingham they just hear a lot of negative things, so I just got to put it out there. It's like, hey,
Okay.
you're gonna have a
Fair
good
enough.
time if
Fair
you go to
enough.
Birmingham, man. All the extra stuff you ain't gonna see that. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm from Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay. How many kids do you have?
I got two beautiful little girls. Well, I got three. I'm gonna say that because my stepdaughter, always kind of rep that too because of my fiance. And um I got
You're
one
currently
that's,
engaged.
yeah, I'm currently engaged.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Yes,
Congratulations.
sir. I
Congratulations.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. So I got one that's 6 and two that's 4.
And that was
So
with the same mother. They got the
what,
same mother.
The
The
two
two.
got the
two is with the same mother, and then
Yeah.
one is that's with
Yeah.
my
Yes.
fiance now.
Okay. And of course, those two was probably the ones that was being alienated, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So
Was it a situationship? Was y'all in a relationship? Like, how did that come
one night
about?
stand marriage.
no, so this is actually and the reason why I say this because it's so we was married. We was
Okay.
Okay.
actually
For how
married,
long?
and I knew my kid's mother for since 2010. So it was about 5 years together, and then like 2 or 3 years marriage. So we was actually
Okay.
high school sweethearts.
Okay.
And by the
Okay.
time we knew each other, because I'm 31, and by the time we knew each other, we actually decided to get married around 2015.
Okay.
And around 2000 and let's say 2020 or 2019, I ended up deciding to file divorce, and that's when all hell broke loose. So,
Why?
oh, to be real, it was just one of those issues where one person outgrew the other. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it was more of an abusive thing. And a lot of people can think that sometimes, man, when you get with a person that don't know how to actually control their emotions or actually express themselves in the most logical way, sometimes it's just a matter of growth. And I felt myself growing faster than the other person, and it was a reason why I had to kind of like separate myself, because at the end of the day, I seen that consistently, even though we knew each other for so long, since we was growing up, since we was like yay high. It was just a term of I was kind of more
Mature.
mature on the level of what I was
So
doing.
was
And
you ignoring the red flags or
man, I'll be honest with you. I At that time I wasn't aware or
aware of
smart
it?
enough. I can honestly say I
Okay.
wasn't smart enough to actually even say it, because I was more loyal to the people who I came up with. I was more loyal to the people who I grew up with, to say, hey, we been to each other. We was together for a while. We from the same city. We from the same neighborhood. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I felt like it was something that I can say, like, hey, you know what? It is what it is. I got to accept you for who you are. But as things progressed, and as time went on, I kind of seen the negativity that was going on, and how much toxic situations that we've been in, and I've been in since I was with her. And I just had to separate myself. So once I did that, all hell broke loose, and that's what got me here today telling my story. So
Okay. So
Okay.
uh,
Well, let me just pause. I got to piggyback off what you said. It's very, very important because, of course, marriage isn't for everyone. But
right.
because we are married, we we do respect anybody that's been through a marriage, and unfortunately, even if it does end up in divorce, right? So I was going to ask you, why didn't you try to make it work? But you pretty much covered that you just saw some things that you just didn't feel that you guys could continue, because a lot of people do stay together for the kids. So it's rare that we get any man on
yeah,
our platform
because men
that
don't
makes
leave.
the conscious decision to walk away. And so typically, as women who file for divorce, most of the time, it had to be really, really bad for you to say, hey, even with my beautiful babies, I'm out. I can't do this. Like, I just want to be a good father to them, but you and I cannot be. And I think that hits so different that women cannot accept it. So you're saying that this is the reason why she turned bitter, because you decided to end the marriage.
Yeah, and it's all a form of and right now in my life right now, man, I can honestly say and hold myself accountable. That's one thing I can honestly say, is that before you get the chance to make any type of adjustments in your life, you got to hold yourself accountable to anything that you do. I wasn't like, I went out just like I mean, messing around and nothing like that. It was
Mhm.
just a form of every single disagreement or argument that we had or anything of that nature. It was just more physical. And like, I'm a big guy, right? So to the normal eye, you'll be like, oh, well, he's a guy, he can handle anything, or whatever the case may be. But it was just it was forms of, it's either I accept what was going on, or I just separate myself and just try to get things, elsewhere.
Okay.
So I decided to separate myself, and just give you a common background story of it is that my
Hold on,
oldest
before you
daughter,
before you hop in it,
yeah.
let's answer this question. So who was the deadbeat?
So I'm gonna honestly say that my kid's mother was a deadbeat. And the reason why I'm saying is because and I'm gonna be honest with you, man. One of the biggest things that I kind of tell any guy that I come across with the same situation is, you got to hold yourself accountable inside your
Mhm.
situation, no matter what it is. But at the same time, too, when what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. Um,
Facts.
and I tell you what, I'm gonna say that she was a deadbeat. The reason why I say is because of the situation that was taking place throughout this whole process of me being alienated. And just a little quick backstory of it is that my oldest daughter, which is 6 years, she's 6 years old right now. She was the only one born at the time when me and her was kind of going through the separation. And what happened was is when I actually filed for divorce throughout the relationship, she alienated me from my kids. I was living in California at the time. And in California, there are certain things that you have to abide by because I was in the military, of course.
Okay.
But certain things you have to abide by. But my home of record was in my hometown in Alabama.
Hmm.
So by us being in California, I didn't actually have to have anything going on in California. I had to have all the court issues going on in Alabama.
Right.
So long story short, she ended up kidnapping. I ain't gonna say kidnapping. She ended up taking my oldest daughter at the time to Birmingham, Alabama, and I didn't see my kid for like at least, man, it was about 8 months. This is the first
Ooh,
situation that happened. For at least eight
what?
months, it's because she was so upset about me filing for divorce, which she didn't want to write on the paper when I presented to her. She was so upset about it. She took my kid to Birmingham, Alabama, and she took her back to her hometown where her family was. And I'm steady calling every other month until I'm about to exit the military. I'm ending my service in the military. And I'm steady calling, trying to see, hey man, where's my daughter? Da da da. Just still blowing up the phone every single other month. When I get time, like, hey, I need to see her. And every single body that was in her family during the time was trying to ignore me. They was trying to like dodge me for some odd
Yeah, they
reason,
take
keeping my
sides.
kid. They taking
Man, that's
sides, right?
crazy.
So
Can't
at
take
the end
sides
of the
from
day,
no
I can't.
kids.
You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, at the beginning when everything started popping off, it was me against the other side, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have support on my side, but on their side, it was every single body was on the same page as her. When it came down to keeping my kid away, my kid was only like 2 years old during this time. This was back in 2019, 2020. And long story short, when that first time that she alienated me from my kid, that's when I ended up kind of like forcing it and going to court. So by the time that I thought about trying to get full custody, I'm steady trying to get her going to court, trying to serve her, trying to do everything of that nature. I end up actually getting the opportunity to go to court. So we get into court. She have my daughter. I haven't seen my daughter in like almost a year at that time when I go to court. And during that time, we have to actually face the judge that was in Birmingham. And rest in peace, her name is Judge Dewart during that time. And she ended up passing away last year in May. Rest in peace to her. But while we was facing the judge inside the courtroom, you have to go and provide why are you all here as far as a divorce for one, but
Mm-hmm.
inside that divorce, you have to fight for custody.
Right.
Hmm.
And me presenting my information and the stuff that I went through as far as her alienating me against my kid and her doing this against my will, whatever the case may be, the judge ended up, favoring me at the time as far as 50-50 custody, right? So we got physical custody, we got sole custody. We had a nice schedule going on when it come down to, hey, you get your time with your kid, I get my time with my kid. This is only my first daughter at that time. And it was basically a week on, week off thing. Week on, week off. Steady the whole time. You get the summertime, you get one whole month with your child, and she get one whole month. The even number of years you can spend certain times of Thanksgiving and Christmas together. The odd number of years I can spend certain times of Thanksgiving and Christmas together with my kid, and it was set, right?
How
So when
long
you
did
go,
that go on?
what's that?
How long did that last?
Man, she ain't care nothing about that order. So soon as that order was set,
What?
That's why I
man, she
asked.
ain't care nothing
Right.
about that order. But soon as that
I'm
order was
trying to
set,
figure out how y'all got two kids.
Man, okay.
How did you
so
get a
here's the kicker. The reason
how
why.
did you get a baby number two?
So the reason why, I'm gonna be honest with you, and this is
Let's
where
keep
I gotta
it
hold myself
real.
accountable too, right? So right before I was about to
Drum
present
roll.
her, right before we gonna keep it real tonight. So right before I was about to present her the papers, right?
Oh
I
my.
didn't know she was actually holding my second child.
Okay, you didn't know she
So
was pregnant,
she
but
didn't
you
know
was
she was
still sleeping
pregnant.
with her, even though y'all had to fight for custody before, and she alienated the
Yeah.
first kid.
So here's the kicker, right? So we end up, we did our thing before, but she was
Before she
already,
left Cali, or
yeah,
when?
before she left Cali. It was like a month or two before she left Cali. And we did our thing before, but she ended up leaving. That's when I presented her the papers. It was like 2 months before she left. That's when she got mad or whatever the case may be. And I didn't know that she was actually having my second child during this time.
So
She didn't know she was pregnant.
you telling me this woman here's your kid for about a year?
It held it for a year. Yeah, for a year, whole year.
Well, you
For
ain't
a whole year.
pregnant for no whole year, so
No, she
But
had
here's
the baby and
yeah,
hid the pregnancy.
what?
yeah,
Yes,
she
Wait a
did it.
minute.
she
Yeah. And
hid
then
the
the
No,
only way
no,
I
no.
knew,
So y'all trying to
so,
tell
so
me?
they going to court for one child the whole time. He have another one that he don't even know about.
yeah, for sure. So
That's
and it's funny.
unreal.
It's funny because it's like while we was in court, the only way I knew that she had the second child is she FaceTimed me while I was still in California because I had to do my time when I was serving. And she FaceTimed me and out of nowhere it was in the hospital and my child was on the FaceTime. And I'm looking, I was lost for words. I'm like, man, what's going on? So I didn't know what to say. I couldn't say anything, and I'm assuming that that was her key to try to make things better. Try to mend things, right? But in my mind, through all the stuff that we done been through, that I done been through, as far as dealing with this situation, I had to be smart about it, and I had to understand that, you can't be in a toxic environment with
Yeah.
kids and
Right.
still think that things are gonna work. Sometimes you
Man,
have to take that
I
time.
just pause
So
dude,
for one
that's
second.
unbelievable,
I
bro. I
this
never
is
heard
this
nothing like
is
that in
unheard
my
of.
life,
Like,
bro.
so
yeah.
nobody told you she was pregnant. Nobody told you she
Nobody
having a
told you she
baby.
was pregnant. Yeah.
Not even with your baby, you was being alienated from her too. So she's not like she could say
It's
baby or
not
mommy had a
like so
baby.
every time I was calling to try to see my oldest child, because I'm assuming that this is my only child. Now this is my only I didn't know nothing about my second child.
Oh my
But
god.
I'm assuming that, hey, what's going on? I want to see my child, all this other extra stuff. So I'm assuming that, she just going through the motion of me trying to present her them papers, file them papers or whatever the case may be. And she did it for about a good year. Cause
He was
I had a
hiding it.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my.
So at the end of the day, when she called me and she FaceTimed me with my second child that was on the screen on the FaceTime, and I was lost for words. I was like, man, I got a second kid. And to me personally, and I'm gonna be honest, I went in immediately try to get a DNA test.
Yeah, you had
Almost
doubts. I
definitely.
And
mean, where does baby come
and
from?
yeah, for a fact, and I was trying to make sure, especially when we were going through court. So our first court appearance, right? My first court appearance. And this is what all the foolery took place. My first court appearance, I had two lawyers in my courtroom, and she had one that was representing her. And the reason why I had two lawyers is because during the time of me actually about to go to court, she started putting some false allegations towards me and my kid. Must I remind you, I haven't seen my kid in a year, but inside the courtroom, they don't know that.
Exactly.
They only
What you
know what
telling?
people are saying to them, so they can kind
Exactly.
of like take your side of the story,
Or
take
this.
her side of the story, and then try to mend things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she put in some false allegations about me towards my kid, my oldest child at that time, and also too never put anything about the younger child. Only thing she was more concerned about was trying to get child support during the time of the trial. I was more concerned about trying to get full custody.
Okay.
So when I was trying to get full custody during the trial, the judge who we had at the time didn't actually see any reason for giving me full custody. So I was okay with getting 50-50 as long as the schedule was made.
Right.
See, only time that you can actually get full custody of a child if it's something mentally, physically, abuse
It's
going,
gotta be
drug.
in the best
It,
interest of the kid. They gotta see
exactly
something
right.
wrong.
So it got to be in the best interest of the kids. And at
Mm-hmm.
that time, nothing was actually presented for that, right? And I'm gonna be
Mm-hmm.
honest, that first my first trial. So we got the custody agreement. And when that order is set, just like y'all always say, it's the law, right? that order is really going to determine how you provide and how you do things for your child, no matter what it is. If they don't want no order, you you try to find some type of way to compromise with that other side. If you don't
Exactly.
want the states, if you don't want nobody else involved, try to find some type of way to compromise with that other side. But if you got to get the states involved, you got to abide by that order, right?
Hmm.
So everything was set with the order far as visitations and things of that nature. So I'm happy, man. I'm excited. I'm like, all right, yeah, I can get my kids now. I'm good. Man, the very next visitation, the girl didn't show up. She ain't
And
show
that,
up. She ain't care about that. And then it dawned on me.
so
It was like,
why
okay,
hire a lawyer and do all of that to try to fight and you don't follow the order? It makes no
and
sense.
and this
Because
is
they
this is
really
what it
think that they gonna go in there and just make the father get nothing. In our case,
right,
her lawyer put on the response to the courts. He gets nothing. She actually put that word there, nothing. Where
right,
is that? How is that gonna ever work in any situation with a father trying to fight
right,
for their kids that they get nothing?
right. And I'm gonna be honest with you. It's good you say that too, is because when I had two lawyers, I had two lawyers at the time, and by her representing herself with one lawyer, she was capable of saying anything and everything during that time of the trial. So whether she was lying, I'm talking about she was saying all the most disgusting things that I can ever hear a person say inside a courtroom just so she can have favor, no matter if it was a lie or nothing. And
Mm-hmm.
the courts is not gonna actually see that since I got two daughters, they gonna try to favor the mother to during that time. Right? That's off the
Right.
top. You know, through the human's eye, a girl is always good to be with a
Better with
mother.
the mom. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a girl is always good to be with a mother, right? But inside that courtroom, when I started actually sitting down and seeing how things was going, I still had two lawyers, which was good for me. But at the end of the day, I was putting out too much money. And I was like, okay, if I'm putting out this money for these lawyers, like, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing to help me get the things that I really need if I'm hiring y'all? So I realized that during that time of me actually getting the lawyers, I really didn't need a lawyer. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, my personal experience, everybody is different. Now every
Yes,
situation
most
is
For
definitely.
different.
I'm
sure.
glad you highlighted
Every
that.
you know what I'm saying. Everybody is different in this situation, right? But
Mm-hmm.
me personally, in my situation, I feel like I didn't need a lawyer is because if I hired two lawyers to try to get me full custody, and I only got 50-50, which we got even custody, right? It's still balanced. Don't get me wrong. You know what was me hiring the lawyers for? So I sat there and thought after all the time that I was being alienated after the trial, right? Because during the trial, my lawyers told me they did tell me and say, "Hey,
Let me stop you
keep
real quick. Yeah,
Wow.
I just want to tell everybody that's watching. Just because you go fight for court and you get your 50-50 custody, it still don't stop there. Y'all see
still."
in his situation, she still didn't follow the order. So
Mhm.
now you got to take another step to take it even further. So the fight never stops. So don't never
Right?
let your guard down and fall for any of the trickery because it don't work like that. It's gonna
It
always
don't.
be a fight.
Another
It
thing
don't.
I want to add too is two things because I just let you talk. Usually I would interject, but it was getting good, so I let you go. But when it comes down to father seeking full custody, people always tend to think it's to avoid child support.
Nah.
Men who can pay child support don't try to avoid child support. So that
Mhm.
doesn't be the case in everybody's circumstance.
Mhm.
People really, really feel like they are the better parent and they want to raise their kids full time in regards
Most
to the other
definitely.
parent. So just because a man seeks full custody doesn't mean that he just doesn't want to pay child support. That doesn't
Oh,
even
for
make
sure,
sense to me.
for sure,
But
hundred
okay,
percent,
in your
100%.
case, you already said, you were seeking full custody. So I want to put that out there because I know they're gonna come for you. They gonna assume,
Yeah. Oh
oh, she
man,
don't even
I
want to get.
wouldn't. Yeah. Like
Yeah, so
my
and
daughters.
another thing
Yeah.
is a lot of people don't understand, even with all this custody battle, fighting. The reality is y'all should really work it out in mediation. Like bumping heads do nothing but make people spend more money to go to trial to get the same outcome that y'all should have already agreed to. And so 50-50, it damn near always ends up being that, no matter what nobody is seeking.
Yes.
That's the reality. And so people tend to think, oh, I'm gonna ask for this and I'm gonna get that and I'm gonna get that. But standard is really split down the
Split down
middle.
the
And,
line.
and
Yeah.
when your women go
Hmm.
wrong, that is when y'all don't follow that order.
Right.
Get us
Right.
there, Shaq.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's good you said that too, is because the most obvious thing to do when it come down to taking care of the kids, right, is to do it you can do it equally, right? So even though you have an equal order in line, that doesn't matter about some people. Any law can be created, right? Everybody ain't gonna
Mhm.
follow it. They ain't gonna follow it,
Exactly.
right? So
Hmm.
no matter how you put it, if you and the other party cannot actually compromise and have things settled, that order has to be in line. No
Yes.
matter how you put it, right? Because that order is going to be your safe hazard because of anything can happen. Me personally, in my experience, I realized that no matter what you're doing as far as fighting for your kids, that was the first trial. After the first trial, the very next visitation, she didn't show up. She didn't do anything. I'm talking about whether it came down to taking off the debt that was on the order that was pertaining to her, or showing up to the visitation and doing all. She didn't do anything, right? She still was bitter. She's still going through the separation or whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
And come to find out, this is where a lot of us as men fail. We fail to the point where we don't put in that effort. And if you want to be with your kids, I promise you that effort, it has to be 4 or 5 times more than what you was putting
Yeah.
in effort when you was originally around them. And I
Yes.
realized that after my first trial. So here's what I did. Every single text I recorded, I kept it stashed. Every single call, FaceTime, I was recording it, kept it stashed. Every single visitation, you have to have some type of record of you being at that stop or
Yeah.
you being at that particular location to pick up your
Hmm.
kids. And if they not there, you have to have some type of record from it, no
Hmm.
matter what it is. I don't if it's somebody
Document,
witness,
document,
document, yeah,
document
you gotta
that.
document
Everything.
every single thing
Every
that's going
single
on.
thing.
Because even though you slept with somebody for so long, I don't care who it is,
Okay.
you don't know who they is until y'all get in that situation.
You don't know what
So
they
you
capable
don't know
of.
what they're capable of doing. So at the end of the day, I realized that every single thing that I had to do, I had to document, no matter what it was. And that's what got me to my second appearance. When I went to courts, I filed for contempt for custody because she was just alienating the kids all the time.
Hmm.
And my second court hearing, got a new judge, went in courts, pretty much got the same exact thing that I had for the first time. Okay, you're gonna do second, you're gonna do a split custody agreement, you gotta still stay on their schedule, things of that nature. Hey, if you do this again, there's gonna be consequences.
Slap on the wrist.
Slap on the wrist, right? That's in the state of Alabama. So when it came down to the next visitation after that order, still didn't do it. Still didn't do it.
So
So
let me
at
ask you
this
this:
time.
Do they have enforcement in Alabama?
That's what he
So this is why
said.
I
They
was
kept
getting to the
contempt
next
of
one,
court.
right?
Oh, you kept hitting it with a contempt. Oh, that's crazy.
And
Yeah,
they
so I
wasn't
just
doing
kept hitting
nothing.
it with a contempt, man. And with the contempt, right, my last court hearing that I recently just had, that's when all hell broke loose, is because at that time, I actually seen my kid within the last 6 years that my oldest daughter been alive and my youngest daughter been alive. I never had a Thanksgiving with my daughters, and I never had a Christmas with my daughters. Only number one time, right?
Man, that's
So the
crazy.
reason why now the alienation is still going on is because of what I was actually awarded. And my last visitation, which was September 30th of last year, come to find out when I went and dropped my kids off for the last time, she got arrested in another state for drugs and possession of drugs, something like that. And that's when she panicked a little bit, right? During the
Hmm.
time she panicked. So this is time we still trying to go to our last court hearing. So during that time she panicked because she got arrested. And I kid you not. So for some odd reason, man, I had a police officer come to my door and he was like, "Yeah, he's like, hey, you so and so." I was getting served. And then when I looked at the document like, damn, this girl said all this about me. So she ended up putting another false allegation in. And I kid you
What?
not, man. I never dealt with nothing like this in my life to the point where I said, you know what? I've been through this, so I know exactly what to go, what to do during this time. So
Right.
while I was trying to serve her, she got arrested, but she ended up kind of like hitting, doing a little oopsie daisy and ended up trying to serve me off a false allegation again. So that was her second time doing a false allegation. And must I remind you, during this time, she went to prison, and during this time she had to present herself in court. And I haven't seen my kids from September of last year all the way up to probably, I think it was sometime this year. It's during the time because we had to process our paperwork and stuff like that. So I ended up kind of missing a lot of things with my kids. So long story short, my final court hearing was I think it was like last July. It was like July, August, around that time. And come to find out, every single court hearing that we actually went into, there was no evidence, there was no statements, there was no
Can
the
you press
allegation.
charges for those false allegations?
And you know what? It was just, and this is where it is, man. I'm a type of person, man. I end up honestly, I end up taking all that away. And the reason why I did that is because I had to realize and I had to educate myself first off every single thing that I got into. I had to educate myself first and realize what am I missing. And when it come down to these trials, when it come down to the situation that I was in, trying to fight for my kids, what am I missing? Now the lawyers they go to school for certain things when it come down to the laws, right?
Hmm.
But sometimes it's not even all about the laws. It's about the psychology of it, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
When you
That's a
dealing
huge part
for
of it.
sure.
when you dealing with certain people from the other side, no matter how much you really know them, you have to educate yourself first to know the psychology of who you dealing with.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, man, if people understand the psychology portion of it, it'll help them better to move forward when
The
it comes
cope.
down to dealing with not only just coping, but dealing with the people from trials and attorneys and
Hmm.
Oh
the
yeah,
state.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so me personally, what I did was I took it upon myself, educate myself, get myself together about every single thing that I've been through with this particular person. I educate myself on how I can deal with it, right? So the psychology of it is that you have to know that most people in this situation, when they bitter, have so much aggression, when they controlling with their kids, when they doing all the unnecessary things to keep you away from your kids, you got to realize that's a form of being a narcissist,
Hmm.
right? That word narcissist is literally big inside of courts. A lot of people don't know that.
A
And
lot of
if you
courts don't recognize it though, just like they don't
they
recognize
don't they
first
don't
alienation. Not in our
they
case
don't.
and not in yours probably, but it's a thing. And so yeah,
It
that
It's
is
is
all about what you can prove.
right. It's
what you can
getting
prove,
there.
right?
It's
Yeah.
getting there.
So
Where narcissism is a thing that they pay attention to now in courts.
right. And then the parental alienation thing is you have to present that inside of course because most states are not aware of it, right? Well, most states are not aware, but it is a lot of states that are.
Yeah.
And it depends on who your judge is because
Hmm.
sometimes the judge actually know what's really going on when it come down to the situation.
Hmm.
You
They
just
can
have
see
to be
right
able
through it
to prove it
Yeah,
because
that's it.
the courts don't go about he say she say.
at
They go
all.
about what you can prove, what you can
Facts.
improve. And my thing was what I was able to prove is that she never brought any documents in showing any that can prove to her about her false allegation that she made. She written statements, things of that nature about me, but she never had real evidence. She never actually came there with anything. She was in courts just crying, trying to fake it till you make it. You know what I'm saying? But me, on the other end, this is where a lot of us actually mess up at. We will go in courts and try to just talk, try to say things and try to prove ourselves to a point, but once you come in there with evidence, there's nothing that courts can do other
It
than
speaks for
receive your
itself.
evidence,
The evidence speaks for
right?
itself.
So it speaks for itself. And I had over 25 exhibitions when it come down to I mean exhibits, I'm sorry, when it come down to evidence, right? I had at
Hmm.
least 25 on 'em. So out of all the 25 pieces of evidence that I had when it came down to my hearing, She didn't have anything other
Mm-hmm.
than word of mouth, right? So me going to my stops, going to my visitation, my location where I was to receive my kids, I had to have some type of form of proof, writing a statement or whatever the case may be, just trying to make sure to say, like, hey, I was there to get my kids. She just didn't want to hand them over. Sometimes she stayed at home and not even come to the location just so she can try to start drama or something like that. But being smart about it is that the more fuel that another person have, the less you'll be able to get your kids, right? So you gotta play it smart. As long as you in a place, once you got that order,
Strategy. It's got to be
as long as
strategically
you in
done.
that place, as long as you in your place of that order is law. No
Mm-hmm.
matter how they put it, I don't care about. Hey, you want to do if
You
y'all
gotta
can't handle
follow it.
y'all situations outside that order, follow that order. And it's up to the male to follow the order, and it's up to the female to follow the order. You don't have no you don't have no
There's
space
no
in
room for
between.
error at
So
all.
You
did
just got to
they
do it.
ever hold on contempt?
Yeah. So at the end of the day, we both had our own obligations. If I see my kids this time of the day or this time of the night, at this time of the week or month, whatever the case may be, you see the kids during that time. And if you go outside of it, we can't come together and do it as adults. Follow the order. That's all you got to do. That's the safe haven, that order, right? I ain't care about none of that. Ain't care about none, no order that was actually made, anything of that nature. So what happened was I did my final contempt, and when I did my final contempt, when I went to the visitation was actually in front of the police department. And my final visitation that I had with my kids, um, and the video came out with that video that y'all have. It's
Yeah, that was wild,
it's
man.
That
it was
video went
yeah.
super viral in like 0.2 seconds. You do know that, right?
Man, and I'm be honest with you, it's it brings awareness,
It
you know.
does. It
It
does
brings
because people
awareness.
say this stuff doesn't happen.
It
They
brings awareness to
they think who's the deadbeat is about drama, but
And it
really,
right,
is not.
we about the realness of this situation of
The
what people,
raw,
the raw,
uncut
uncut
truth.
of what
because
people
it's
is really
real.
going through. Because this is what people don't see. They just hear like, oh man, she keeping him away from his kid, or he a deadbeat.
Go get your kids.
But
Go to court. But
but
they don't understand
she
that
right,
you could be in court, right?
right,
Right,
and you
You
right,
right,
you can have an order, and
and
it will
right,
still not give you your kids.
in
right,
front of the police station.
right. So and I'm being honest with you, it's is and I'm super inspired with what y'all doing for real. Is because not only y'all just being real about what's truly going on inside of society, you bring in awareness and you bring in actual film and footage of it, right? No matter what it is, it can be anything to expose it because so many people going, so many males and females are
Hmm.
going through the same situation when in reality, it don't even matter about no males, it don't matter about any females. All the thing it matter about is the kids,
The
The
kids.
right?
kids.
So
This is for
if
the
we
children.
it's I'm gonna be honest with you. If everybody just think about the same exact thing, we'll be good. It won't even be no problems in the world, right? But at the same
Yep.
time, too, that's not the case. We know for a fact that's not gonna happen. So
The kids never the best interest.
it's never the best
They
interest, man.
pawn.
So
They
so
use them
They
as
part
pawns.
of the control system.
right,
They don't even matter. And that's what's crazy because this is your own flesh and blood. This is
right,
you. This is part of you. You don't think you so worried about your motives and your tactics that you will jeopardize them. That's
right.
crazy to me.
So let me
And
ask you this. Let me ask you this. So how did you feel going those months, like without seeing your kids? How did that make you feel?
man, shit. To be real, any man would feel like he's alone. You know, kids are your purpose, man. My kids are my purpose. It's my passion. You know, I do everything for my kids. And to be for real, that's literally the trigger of a lot of people who take advantage of it when it come down to certain men. And they
Mm-hmm.
know for a fact that, ain't none of your weakness. Only thing that's your weakness is your kids, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Any man can tell you like, oh, we don't care about no women. We don't care. Well, I ain't gonna say it like that, but we don't care
But it's
about
like
all the
that.
yeah,
It's
we don't
like
care about
that.
all the extra stuff that we got going on in our life. The only thing a real man can really truly care about is his kids, right? So that's the soft portion of a man, right? So most of the times women they don't have anything against a man other than the kids, right? So they know that's how they get to him.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I can honestly vouch for guys who kind of turn their head away for the time being of situations
We
so
can
they can
too.
Yeah.
so they can
It's needed.
get their mind together a little
That's
bit,
right.
get their self together, because at the end of the day sometimes they don't want to be in that drama so much to the point where they
They
still got a
hurt
life to live.
somebody.
Crash out.
You know what I'm saying? Before they
I
crash
want to
out.
crash
But at
out.
the same time, too, when you love your kids, you do what you got to do for your kids. You
Yeah.
you go all out for your kids, right? No matter what it takes. It took me almost 5 to 6 years to get what I really want. And
So
in
where
my
you at
last,
now?
yeah, so oh, no, so I'm good now. It's she got consequences inside her order, and she has to abide by what's going on. So if she don't, then she going to prison.
So
And
when
I'm
did
being
this come about?
this is
Bring us
my
to
this was
that.
my last court hearing. Yeah, my
Oh,
last court hearing that took place this year. And this is literally I've been in court, man, about 3 times, man, trying to fight and showing contempt. I did contempt twice.
so
So,
how did that work between you and your fiance situation?
I mean, to be honest with you, man, she's a strong support system. And once you have that support system with you about, hey, I know what type of guy you are. I know exactly
Mm-hmm.
what's going on, man. It's the fact that in reality, eventually the truth gonna always come out. No
Always.
matter what it is, the kids gonna see the truth gonna come out, and adults are gonna see the truth in every single thing that's going on. We can talk all day, but in reality, you gonna soon see the truth in what's going on.
Them
And
kids don't stay kids forever. They grow up.
facts. So in my fiance situation, we good. It's because that when they see exactly what's going on, then they'll accept it. They'll be like, damn.
And
Because
and
even
fathers don't get his words mixed up. It got to be a father that's fighting for the
that's
kids to
right.
see the truth.
Right.
If you're not
Yeah.
fighting, then your kids is only seeing one side.
Right.
It's
And
never
and
gonna come out.
and it's never gonna come out. Yeah, if you ain't fighting, it's never gonna come out. You have to fight, man. You have to put in the extra time. That's what we fail at for men's, man. We don't put in that extra time for it.
Hmm.
Because at the end of the day, if we sometimes we impatient with our effort
Exactly. A
and
lot of people want instant results. In
instant
in a
results.
fight or
Family,
custody battle or family court is never instantaneous.
It's
nothing
never,
instant
It's a
about
never. It's
family
a
uphill
court.
battle. You have to
man.
continue to go through the
It's
process.
it's a
Trust
it's
the
a process.
process.
It's a process, and honestly, man, it's just like whatever you put yourself into is always a result to it, no matter what it is. If you don't put the effort in, you're not gonna get the results that you want.
All right, so
I'm
just get us to that court case where it changed the shift.
oh yeah. So my last court hearing is this what actually happened. It was actually me and her. No attorneys, no anything. At that point, I realized I didn't need any attorneys. I realized I didn't need nobody else. All I need is my evidence that I had, and I was good.
Hmm.
And with the evidence that was presented, like I said, I had 25 exhibits of evidence to give them. 25 separate ones, whether it came down from visitations, whether it came from lying about child support to the state. Like she was lying about I wasn't giving her child support. And she was only receiving a certain amount. Like she told that to the state. I kept documents that the state was sending me that what she said. I kept all the visitation that she missed. I kept text messages, things of that nature. I kept all that, and I presented that to the courts, and she didn't have anything. All she had was a false allegation that was presented from the time that she wrote a PFA against me because she was scared. She was scared that I was gonna have full custody of my kids, things of that nature, and she wasn't gonna be able to see her kids no more because for one, she got arrested. Two, she didn't have any evidence showing because I was doing what I was doing, right? So that was just me on my end because I know for a fact at that point you don't have to worry about the other side. As long as you doing what you doing, you good, right?
That's
In that in
right.
that point. And if you got the right judge, you got the right people who can actually see you doing what you're doing, you present the stuff that you're doing. I don't know why I keep doing it, man, but I guess it's a celebration of being
It's
on here with
it's
y'all.
it's cause you dropping them gems. You
Man,
let them know
but
what's up.
it's
Okay,
I'm
I'm
telling I
glad
need
we
to
ain't
keep
got to do it for once.
man, but it's real, man. And with my last court hearing, this is where I messed up at. I'm gonna be honest with you. So the type of person I am, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. And this is anybody can they can see this and they can vouch for it. The type of person I am, the judge asked me, she said, "What do you want?" And she said, "Do you want this? Do you want her to go to prison? Do you want her to, from the evidence that was presented in the situation that was going on, the amount of stuff that she was lying about, she
Hmm.
had prison time on her, right?" And I told her, I was like, you know what? I'm too blessed for to be going back and forth with people. As long as she have consequences on this order, I'm good. And the reason why I did, and a lot of people gonna be like, "Oh man, he should have went
Nah,
to jail."
No,
we
All
know
that extra
why.
stuff. Nah, nah.
Go ahead and explain your why,
But
though.
go ahead.
man, look, she ended up saying some of the most drastic things about me and my kids to the courts, and she put herself in that situation, right? And the judge ended up telling me, like, "What do you want?" So of course, I wanted full custody, right? But she didn't see it was reasonable for me to get full custody because there wasn't any mental, you
Yeah.
know,
It gotta
issues
be
that was
bad,
going
bad.
on. It got to be bad, bad for a
Like
father
for
who
them to
fighting.
see that
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
bad.
yeah. Who like
Not
a
what you
father who
know.
fighting for? Yeah, exactly. So I'm fighting for some daughters, right? Two daughters, and it's hard for a man to try to get two daughters unless something actually really, really going on that you can present and actually see. But if it was a son or something like that, my son or something like that, then it'll be different. A boy should be with his dad, and the girl should be with their mom. But what I did was I said, nah, I don't want her to go to prison. As long as you got consequences on the order, and we good. So right now, in my order, my final order, she suspended the time that she was gonna actually take her to jail for the last final order. She put it on an order and said, "Hey, you were supposed to get put in jail for the times you missed visitation at this date, this date, this date, this date, this date. You had 5 days in jail for every visitation that you missed." So what it was is
Yeah.
that by you not abiding by those visitations, every 5 days that you miss, I'm gonna put in this order and suspend your serving for the next time that you miss it. Right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's an order. Not saying that you're gonna go to jail, but next time you do it, you're gonna go to jail. So that's all it is, man. So you have to have people, you gotta hold people accountable for what they're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, as long as I got consequences behind, not seeing my kids, all this other extra stuff, I'm good. Cause at the end of the day, I don't take things against, the other side. It's because at the end of the day, people will do anything and everything when they under pressure.
So
Hmm.
Majority
I'm
of the
gonna
time.
ask you this. So well, we ask everybody. If it could be a perfect world, man, what would that look like for you?
Man, if it can be a perfect world, shit. I get my kids when I get them. She get her kids when she get them, and let it be that. Ain't no extra. As long as you be where you at and do what she do, and I do what I do, that'll be that. We good, man. Shit, if we supposed to be together, with the kids, then we adults. We should be with each other. But if we not, hey man, move on with life. You got two separate lives.
And,
Don't
Yeah.
try to
and,
make it. Don't try to make it hard for the next person. Shit,
and
just continue to
it was one
pursue.
thing. It was one thing you said earlier when you first got on. When you said you got the divorce, and you said it was some abuse.
Mhm.
What abuse was it?
It was man.
He was
I
trying
got
to say that he was almost like a battered husband, right?
yeah, man. I got stabbed in my hand trying to get
Stop.
all that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
In certain conflicts, man. But to
Man,
be
yeah, it
honest
was
with you,
bad. You did the right
yeah,
thing, man, for sure.
yeah. Yeah, it went, and this is one of them things where most of the time, man, we don't see the bigger picture for the moment. But honestly, every single thing that you do when it comes down to your kids, you're gonna always there's a light at the end of every tunnel, dog. I promise
Yes.
you. Most men stop what they're doing is because they don't see it so soon. But the effort that you put in, the consistency that you are doing with your kids, once you do that, you will see that light at the end of the tunnel to get exactly what you want because nothing is hidden up under the sun, man. I don't care what nobody say. Nothing is hidden up under the
Sure.
sun. No matter how much a person do with their kids, eventually it's gonna come out. Because a lot of people don't understand is that every single state got their own way of doing things.
They do.
Me, I'm just talking about for Alabama. Even when my kids get to a certain age in the state of Alabama, they gonna have to make the decision on who they want to stay with, right? They gonna want to stay with the other side, or they want to stay with me, and it's gonna
The
always
judge
be,
still ain't
yeah,
gonna just give it to them. They gonna see
yeah.
what's in the best interest.
That's gonna see
They could
who's in
want
the
to
best
stay
interest,
with you
man.
because whatever. You give them ice cream every Friday, but the judge is still gonna determine who's the
Right.
better
Do
parent,
you stay in the back?
custodial parent.
If you make sure you compare school districts. Where you go, Shaq? Did his phone die?
Probably.
Well, yeah, we're gonna give him like 2 minutes so we can end the interview. If not, man, we finna wrap it up. But man, one thing, like I was saying, like I was finna say to Shaq, in his situation, when it comes down to stuff like this, you got to make sure.
He back.
Are you back? Okay,
Okay,
so
there
like
we
I
go.
was saying is you got to make sure you could you have comparisons of school districts. You said you engaged, right? So you
Yeah.
know you will have a two-parent household. You'll be
Mm-hmm.
married by that time. So you got
Mm-hmm.
to keep all those things in mind, man, when you present it if they want to decide to live with you or whatever. So
Right.
yeah,
Right. You want to get custody of the
and
kid.
start taking them to the doctor. You got to have medical records. That's huge.
So is she
Okay.
following the order now? Before we
Yeah,
go,
yeah.
I have a
Everything
couple of.
good. Hey, everything good, man. It's all smiles over here.
Oh, okay.
Hey man, I'll
Yeah,
tell you, look, that's why I can write a book about this, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. And that's why I say I love and I support every single thing that y'all doing. Is
we appreciate that.
because man, it's so many men out here going through the same exact thing, man. And I'm be honest with you, everybody got their own experience, but to be for real, we have the same solution. We got
Right.
different experience, but we got the
Hmm.
same solution. And it comes to the effort that we put in when it comes down to your kids. No matter how you do it, no matter how long it is. I know some people who did it for 18 years. I know some people who did it for 12, 5 years.
And the good support system.
Yeah, and the support system, right? So, man, first and foremost, get yourself together, man. Get yourself together because it's gonna be a road. It's gonna be a challenge. It's gonna be it's
Difficult.
yeah, it's gonna be difficult, but at the same exact time, you have leverage. A lot of people don't understand, man. Us men, we have leverage, and the leverage that you have to know it with the state that you involved with. And a lot of us don't want
Yes.
to do
Learn
that.
the
We don't want,
law. Do your research.
We
man.
can do
You have
diligence.
to,
We
no
can,
matter how
We
it
had
is.
attorneys, but we still did extra reading and extra looking this
yeah.
up and
You have
figuring this
to,
out and
you
You
knowing,
have
hey,
can't
to,
I can do
you
you
have
this.
can't
to.
put all your faith in your
You
attorney hands. These are
you
your
No. And
kids.
then
man,
regular
look,
people.
While your attorney
man, look.
out having brunch with his lawyer friends,
You
man,
They don't
you
care
still
nothing
still
care
in
about.
here
about
about
your
your kids. So
kids.
you got to be putting in that
You
work too
gotta,
as well.
They
you
are
have
not
to,
magicians.
you have to.
It's all about, like you said, and thank you for being transparent and being accountable on this platform. This is a
Mhm.
safe space. We keep it a buck, okay?
Right,
Two and three of them right here, and people don't like that, but it's necessary. It's necessary to get down to the root, and like you are very, very aware of the wrongs, the do's, the don'ts, because you had the journey. But a lot of people get defeated before they even get there. And so they don't even know that if they would have just kept going and kept doing more, putting the extra effort in, like you spoke on, they would get some type of relief. It might not be exactly what you want,
But
but you still just got to do what's best for your kids. So
right,
you got to keep fighting. We all still fighting the good fight. Because the thing
right,
about it is, even getting your custody, your order intact, we still fighting because these
right,
people still are there where they are.
yeah,
They have not
right,
grown. They are still going to do things to the kids, treat the
Right.
kids a certain way, try to get even on the kids. It
Exactly.
never ends.
Man.
And then
You may get your order, you may
Right.
get your time, but now you got to start researching how to deal with the effects of
uh,
parental alienation to
the
them kids.
mental part
Man.
of it. See, that's what
Right.
people always miss. They always think it's the physical part. You
Right.
can't see your kids. But what about all them times she's probably in the house saying, "Oh, your daddy not this, your daddy not that. That woman over there ain't your mama." Telling them
Right,
different things to
right. Grooming
change
them,
their
Man,
grooming
view
them,
of
and
you.
it's funny.
manipulating
It's
them.
funny that you say that too. Is because my that last court here, man, she was disagreeing with a lot of things that the judge said, and she mentioned something about my side of my life.
Hmm.
She was trying to get into my life, and the judge said, it said, so shit. It's good that you got another support system. It's
Okay.
good that
Okay.
you got somebody else that
I don't know
that
why they
care
don't
about
look
your
at it like
kids.
that.
So you don't even gotta look at it like that. So in reality, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've had FaceTime calls right with my kids, and my stepdaughter. They was actually talking with each other, and you can hear somebody on the other side saying, "Hey, your dad don't like y'all. Your dad don't love y'all." Literally
Still,
on the
while they on the
FaceTime,
phone,
on FaceTime, dog. So
that's
you gotta
Hey,
realize,
that's pure
I
desperation.
think you need to reread your order because I don't think she's supposed to be in earshot of your
man.
phone
It's
conversation.
it all that is on the order, man. But they gonna still do what they want. The reason why I'm saying is
You
because
picking your battles. We get
You,
it.
Yeah,
We get it.
exactly,
we get
We
it.
get it.
exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So you
and
have
that's
to pick
Patty.
your
You want to
battles,
hit it
man.
with it where it's gonna be real.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So at the end of the day, man, you can't change anybody though. What you can
Yeah,
do, you can control what you can control.
yeah,
And my biggest thing is that once we doing the things that we can control, we put in an effort into knowing the things that we control and to do, then we'll be good. I'm gonna be honest with you. I never in my life put in so much time to know the state. I'm gonna be honest with you. Me personally, growing up, while I was growing up, I never put in so much time to know the state that I was living in until I went through trials. And to be real, I knew for a fact that there wasn't any time that I needed an attorney for real. I realized that. This is my experience. Now I can't speak
Yeah.
for everybody
Yeah.
else.
For
Everybody
sure.
is different.
For
But
sure.
I realized I needed attorneys because what I was doing by me doing what I needed to do, right? And it is some things that you do need the attorney for, as far as
Mm,
communication with the courts, things of that nature, as far as filing. But as far as me presenting the evidence and just being real with the judge, like, hey, I'm doing what I need to do, and here's to show the proof.
yeah,
That's
you
all you
don't need
need.
an attorney for that.
That's all you
You
need, right?
don't.
So
You
if I'm
don't.
doing what I'm
Especially if
doing,
you
then
got
I'll
the
be good,
courage. If you got the courage. Like a lot of people don't have that mouthpiece. A lot of people
man.
not
So
educated enough to
yeah.
walk
right,
in that. Like you come from a background where you was in the military, and thank you for your service. I ain't forget about that either.
oh yeah, I
But you come
appreciate it.
from a
Right.
background where you had to be put on what they call it, the front line, like in
Right,
the you had, and so we get it. But just to say this, it depends on the case. Like you said, every case is different. Like you may just need an attorney just to go to lunch with the judge. You may
right,
just need an attorney to know the ins and outs of,
right,
hey, is should we keep it jurisdiction here or there? People have interstate cases. Like, it's all different politics in the way that this stuff goes. But you didn't need a attorney. We fought pro se until we couldn't no more. So we do encourage men and people to do that. Like you can get the ball rolling. You don't have to go drop down tens of thousands of dollars just to get somebody to help you. You can go
Yeah,
read.
man.
You can go
I
to
spent
the
about
law
20. I spent
library.
20,000 on two attorneys, dog. I never do it again.
yeah, man. It's tough. Hey,
I
so
never do
this
it
this is my
again, man.
last question for you, man. Before we get up out of here. So you said you just recently moved to Houston, right?
Right, right.
Okay, so how did you get that the jurisdiction to spread so far?
That's because it's reasonable, man. Once you're able to have the ball in your hand, you have some type of leverage.
Okay,
And as long as it got to the point where as long as she wasn't conflicting with anything that I was doing in my life, or I wasn't conflicting with anything she was doing in her life. And when those consequences was presented, people get right. You know what I'm saying? Some
okay,
people get right,
gotcha.
and they realize, like, you know what? Maybe I should bad back a little bit, or maybe I should get right, because at the end of the day, it's all about the kids, right? And I'm gonna get to your point how I got it. It's all about the kids, and if you were to go to jail or if you go to everybody's situation different. When she was presented that time, she thought about it and said, you know what? I might lose my job during that time. I can't take care of my family. She thought about, oh well, I might not be able to be in a better situation to even do the things that I need to do. So
You gotta
so why
spank
not? So
that
why not?
ass.
So why
Spank that
not
ass.
compromise? Why
Spank that
not?
ass.
Exactly right, man. You got to put some pressure on these
But
folks,
see, in
man.
our case, that didn't work.
Right.
Some
So,
of them crash out so they lose custody.
so
And so
exactly right.
this is what we're here to tell everybody, every bit of baby mom that's looking and watching. Stop playing because you might just lose your damn
Lose
kids.
your custody. But me, on the other hand, I was compromising, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. To me personally,
You ain't
man,
the only one. Everybody
God
compromised.
was, yeah, for shit, for sure. God was like, man, look, and I'm be honest with you, it took a lot of time for me to get to this point. And I was saying, like, you know what? As long as I got my order in line, those consequences straight, she got right. And the reason why is because I felt good about it, because I applied pressure with it. And once you apply pressure on what you're doing, man, some people will reconsider what they're doing. And she reconsidered it. So I got my own personal time in my own life. She got what she got, but it's also consequences behind her doing the things that she was doing. So that's all that really mattered to
That's
me.
it.
And that's pretty much exactly what I wanted. So
You
I'm
said it's
good.
all
Yeah.
smiles over there, so that's
Yeah.
all we wanted to hear.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
happy for you and your babies, your
for sure.
fiance, your stepdaughter. Y'all doing y'all thing. Jess, I don't know. I'm pretty sure you well at well spoken in terms of how to log on your process. So just make sure you do your due diligence and look deeply and more into parental alienation and effects that it has on children, because you being so far away from your kids, you're not going to start to see the true effects until they right in front of your
Right,
face
Yeah.
for a
right,
long period of time. And so just, prep yourself on the signs and what to watch for so you can know how to combat it. And that's all
right.
we here for, because we
Yeah.
For
got
sure.
tips. We live it every day.
Yeah.
For sure. I appreciate y'all and what y'all doing too, man. Keep it up, and I'm be honest with you, bro. You got my whole 100% support. And I'm be honest with you, man. I'm following like the lead, man. Is y'all leading the way with a lot of people, man. And I appreciate what y'all doing.
I
Thank you.
appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much. You enjoy the rest of
Rest of
your
your night,
night.
man.
All right,
Get to
man.
that
Y'all
fight,
keep it easy.
man. I know I'm finna see. I'm
And keep
watching.
us
Man, look, I'm
posted.
about to tune in a minute now. Y'all take it easy now.
All
Y'all
right,
y'all
man.
be
Have a
good, all
good
right?
one, man. All right, man. Well, y'all know what it is. It's fight night. We finna end it. Finna go eat some chicken
When we
with
saying
our
this
feet
fight
up.
night, we saying like it's a fight between professional boxers, not you go fight your baby mama because she ain't give you your kids or vice versa.
Yeah,
That ain't
if
what
you
we.
gonna fight it, you gonna fight it in court.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah.
So if it is your fight night, you go do your due diligence, man. Be in that book and go do what you gotta do to go see your kids. But we love y'all, man. Y'all know why we do this, man.
See y'all on Monday.
And thanks for the support. Make sure y'all go like, subscribe, and hit that alert button. Make sure, man, we need more people in here to share their stories. So we holler at y'all Monday.
Peace.